Right now at 5, the Arma Public Library looks to solve some structural issues with its building.
And we've got another somewhat mild start to the day out there. Another round of isolated pop-up storms possible as well. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, area college students will have to wait again for federal aid assistance.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. I spoke with this guy at Quick Trip this morning. His name's Chris too.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's a cool name.
Sure.
And he asked how I was doing. I was like, we're getting along. It's Tuesday. He goes, yeah, it's kind of like a second Monday.
Right.
My life has been changed by that statement.
It kind of does feel like a second Monday. Some days not so much.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Tuesdays and Thursdays are a couple of typically the most useless days of the week. Monday starts your week. Tuesday's just there. Wednesday's the halfway point.
Right, yeah.
Thursday's there, and then Friday you're like, all right, we made it. So I don't know what those 2 days are all about, but those 2 days still happen, and there's still things that happen on those 2 days, including weather-related things. And today's going to be another hot one, but a little bit of good news: no heat advisories for our area today.
Fantastic.
But that doesn't mean it's not still going to be a bit on the hot side. Let's take a look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. We've got mostly clear skies as we get this Tuesday underway. We're looking pretty good so far. Same from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, and from the MoDOT camera down at 20th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. So, future track. Okay, remember yesterday we had those pop-up showers and storms, didn't show up on anything. The computers try and learn, I guess. I don't know if you can teach them that much, but they've learned from yesterday's environment and have indicated we could see some isolated pop-up showers and storms this morning and then possibly again this afternoon. And we'll see some of those once we put this into motion after about 3, 4 o'clock. Well, now they're not showing up on this, but trust me, they're there, and I'm going to go ahead and say that they're going to be there. All right, looking outside, 74 in Joplin right now, also in Pittsburgh and around the area. Temperatures, again, mild. We should be in the upper 60s, and we are not this morning. We are in the low, mid 70s, and even some upper 70s a little further north. Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada. It's a little bit warm out there. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We're looking at mostly clear skies initially, 72, south breeze at 5 to 10. We've got one round of pop-up showers and storms in the morning, one in the afternoon. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But here's that second round for some of us as we head into the afternoon hours. About 95, otherwise partly cloudy when the bus brings them back home. Now remember, with these isolated storms, the majority of us will remain dry. The first round is going to be between about, say, 10 a.m. and maybe at the latest noon. And it looks to be along and east of Highway 69. And then the afternoon round looks to be mainly in our northwestern counties. So we're talking Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, those locations up there. And we are looking at temperatures today right around the mid-90s. Heat index values still approaching about 100 degrees. We do still have that cold front on the way, and it's going to make for some very pleasant changes. We'll go over all those details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the Missouri Propane Safety Commission is helping in the investigation of an explosion that destroyed a house in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. The incident happened late Friday afternoon. The explosion killed the 2 residents along with their dog. The massive explosion could be felt and seen for many miles. The blast blew open the doors of nearby houses. No neighbors were hurt, although some reported damage to their homes. The Excelsior Springs Fire Department advises every homeowner to install a gas detector. And we have an update on the health of 2 firefighters following Sunday night's fire in East Joplin. Reports of the fire came in Sunday night around 7:45 from a house at the intersection of 2nd and High Street. The flames had spread to nearby vehicles and a storage building, but was under control in about 30 minutes. No injuries were reported. 2 firefighters were transported to an area hospital for heat-related illness. At the time, 1 was released, but the 2nd was admitted for further observation and treatment. He has since been released. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Arkansas Library hopes to upgrade their building and fix some structural concerns. They faced a mold issue, and as a result of clearing it up, they're now figuring out how to fix their walls and sheetrock. While they received a grant, the repair costs were over the grant amount. The library offers a food pantry, book clubs, and internet to the community, so the city wants to improve the library for their guests.
Sewing, cooking, and as they have a small kitchen there as well to work with. And so it's a good communal point for people to meet. And we want to keep it that way and continue to improve.
They also hope to fix the front door of the library to make it accessible for people with wheelchairs, along with other upgrades. Well, for the second year in a row, parents and students can expect to see a delay for the free application for federal student aid form, better known as FAFSA. The current FAFSA opened in December of last year, causing concerns in form completion, aid reports, and award packages among students and colleges. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with students at MSSU to learn how they're handling the continuing delays.
It was so close to college from college starting, that I was just eager to get that information back.
The U.S. Department of Education has announced that the FAFSA form for the 2025-2026 school year will be open to students 2 months later than usual. This is the second year for FAFSA delays, which comes after the FAFSA Simplification Act in 2020 caused an overhaul of the previous federal aid system. The months-long delays caused lots of anxieties for new students. For Bella, an MSSU freshman, she received her tuition bill before even knowing how much aid she might get. She said the delays made her contemplate college altogether.
I was just really stressed out. I considered not going, but I feel like it's better that I did, and I'm glad that I did get the aid that I needed. But I definitely was really anxious for a long time, and yeah, it made my skin and everything flare up. I was just anxious.
For freshman students that I spoke with, they say it was frustrating to not know how much aid they were going to receive until almost when the school year started. They say they're not looking forward to this year's delays.
Kind of worried, just because, it's a lot of money. So to be that delayed is kind of stressful, not knowing that amount, getting so close to when I have to start college and classes and everything.
Some students are even trying to look on the bright side of these delays because they know there is nothing they can do.
That can be very frustrating, but it also builds anticipation, and maybe it's more exciting for them when they finally figure it out.
The Missouri Southern Financial Aid Office says it's important that students know FAFSA is different from school scholarship applications. Students new and returning need to fill out those applications in the fall, regardless of any FAFSA delays. They say their office is open to help students as universities and students alike deal with these delays. Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Financial Aid Department at MSSU recommends students fill out their FAFSA as soon as it becomes available. The priority deadline in Missouri is currently February 1st. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Coffeyville High School football prepares for this upcoming season. We have the details. Plus, Uber receives a fine for violating a European country's rules on data protection. And we have another hot and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The opening week of Division II college football is finally here. The Missouri Southern Lions traveled to Midwestern State for their season opener on Thursday night. On Monday morning, the Lions hosted their first weekly press conference of the year.
I promise you this football team has worked as hard as any football team that I've been a part of since I've been here. It's a group that has taken tremendous pride in getting better. It's a group that has come to work. Like I said, it's unmatched. There are a lot of guys with chips on their shoulders, a lot of guys that are out to prove something, a lot of guys that want to do something that's never been done at Missouri Southern, and we're excited to embark on that journey, and here we go.
We understand how to weather the storm, and our older guys understand what to preach and what to preach when, right? We've had instances in the past where, we've been young mentally, and I think we've grown a lot mentally, and that's going to be the best thing for us in a long season, especially in MIAA.
High school football practices continue around the 4 states. Our next stop features Field Kenley football in Coffeyville. This year, the Golden Tornado aim for their 3rd straight winning season. Field Kenley has posted similar numbers in back-to-back seasons. Coffeyville went 5-3 in the regular season and ultimately finished 6-4, or with a 6-4 over record in 2022 and 2023. Golden Tornado brings back a heavy senior class along with one of the top offensive linemen in the state in Keaton Jones, who committed to Mizzou earlier this summer. Coffeyville opens up week 1 on the road in Towanda.
We're trying to win the SEK League title. We haven't got that one yet since I've been here, and it's been a while since Coffeyville is 1-1, Field Kenley is 1-1. We want one so bad, but it takes us, we go into 1 week at a time. We can't look too far ahead and just get better 1% of what we're trying to do. And then after that, we're trying to bring a plaque home in the postseason. We've been close, and we just ain't been able to get it done, so it's time for us to get over that hump.
I think my expectations is to most definitely get past the 2nd round this year, hopefully win a regional championship and a league championship, and just make it the best senior season possible.
We just need to really lock in during practice, Practice is really the biggest part of all of it, having energy all throughout the week, being ready on game day, and then actually bringing that energy out on game day.
Kansas City Royals travel to Cleveland for a day-night doubleheader that is a makeup game from a rainout that happened back in early June. Kansas City has a good opportunity to make up some ground in the American League standings. Big series for the Royals, who are on the road taking on Cleveland. Kansas City playing in 4 games in 72 hours, and this is a good start. Royals beat the Guardians 4-3 in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Bobby Witt Jr. and MJ Melendez each homer in the game. So we go to Game 2 of the doubleheader. Cleveland leading 3-0, but Paul DeYoung gets the Royals on the board in the 2nd inning. Solo homer makes it a 3-1 game. 4th inning, Royals lead 4-3. Daniel Schneemann hits a line drive over the wall. That solo home run ties the game. It's now 4-4. So we go to the 5th. And the captain comes through. Salvador Perez gets the lead back with his 24th homer of the year. Royals now leading 5-4. Then in the 6th inning, Slavy has the bases loaded, and it is goodbye baseball. It's gone for a grand slam. That ties Frank White for the most in Royals history. Kansas City wins Game 2, 9-4. St. Louis returns to Busch Stadium tonight after the Cardinals are coming off a successful series in Minnesota. However, San Diego gets the win on Monday night. St. Louis loses 7-4 to the Padres in the series opener. Still to come, we're going to see why heat-related deaths in the U.S. have been steadily increasing for years. And talking about heat, we're going to talk about that hot forecast and when the relief gets here when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News just after 5:18 now on this Tuesday morning. We are going to start with a live look from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. We're looking pretty good so far this morning. So we'll head over to Kansas, take a look at the KDOT camera, 69 in Kansas Crossing. Also looking pretty good so far this morning as well. And at least for the time being, we are dry, but an isolated pop-up shower storm is possible. First round is possible between 10 a.m. and about noon, and it looks to, at least at this point, be initially better chances along and east of the 69 corridor. Then this afternoon, we'll have another round possible for our northwestern counties. So Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute will have a possibility of an isolated shower or storm. So we'll deal with that. Then we'll go into Wednesday, and it is a copy-paste situation where we'll have partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. We'll have isolated pop-up showers and storms possible. Now on Wednesday, though, we're not looking at the split rounds like we are today. It looks to be mainly into the late evening or the early evening hours, I should say, and it looks to be a little more widespread across a broader area. Thursday, still going to be hot, as is Wednesday. An isolated shower storm is possible ahead of that cold front before it gets here, and once it does get here, it'll actually by late night start triggering showers and storms. So here's that boundary. And so after midnight is when that chance for shower and thunderstorm activity will really start to pick up, and it'll roll in from the northwest to the southeast across the area. Did want to mention the heat risk. So even though we don't have heat advisories in our area, it does not mean it's not still going to be hot outside. We're still looking at heat index values approaching 100 degrees. So you still want to take precautions. We still have, for most of us, a moderate heat risk, but you can see there are still splotches of major, and that will continue into Wednesday and into Thursday. But by Thursday, we start seeing improvements, and as that cold front passes through, take a look. In fact, even on the heat risk, you can kind of tell where that cold front will be by Friday afternoon across the areas. We now settle into a minor risk by Saturday, and Sunday we're minor and even some little to no risk, and then let's head into Monday. Take a look at how much of the area is in little to no heat risk as we head into Monday. And it's going to be a lot better behind this front. We just have to get there, and it's going to be the longest 2 days or 3 days before it gets here. But once it is here, it'll be pleasant. 74 in Joplin right now, south breeze at 3. So as mentioned, we did a little better last night with our overnight lows. Now we're not at, not all of us are at those official lows yet, but we are a bit cooler for some of us as we're in low to mid 70s, but a little further north, especially the north central parts of our viewing area into Kansas, we've got some upper 70s out there. Yates Center, Iola, for example, a little bit on the toasty side this morning. As we get the morning underway, again, we'll have a few clouds to start. We'll see partly cloudy skies. We'll have that first round of isolated pop-up storm chances out there. Now remember, they're going to be isolated, so not everyone's going to see rain. And we'll be about the mid 80s by 11 o'clock. As we head into the afternoon, another hot day. Mid-90s across the area, maybe even some upper 90s, but we'll see slightly improved humidity and dew point levels, not significantly, but slightly. And then between 4 and 6 will be the next possible round of isolated pop-up storms, but again, these are going to be confined up again around Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, in that zone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see a storm there, but that's where the chances for the next round of pop-up storms will be. And we'll have mostly clear skies through the late evening and overnight hours, back again into the low 70s. We'll still be hot tomorrow and Thursday, got those pop-up storm chances, mid-90s, and then by Friday, thunderstorms through most of the day. At this point, not looking at anything strong or severe, but we'll keep an eye on it. Hanging on to the upper 80s into the weekend. Another weak wave comes in Sunday, and it is enough to bring some light rain chances, and then temperatures, overnight lows, upper 50s, highs in the low 80s. So just a few more days, and it is going to feel wonderful outside. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Heat-related deaths in the U.S. have been steadily increasing for years. A new study in the medical journal JAMA shows a 117% spike from 1999 to 2023. More than 21,000 people died during that period, with a disproportionate number of deaths recorded in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas. Using data from the CDC, researchers found the annual number of deaths varied from year to year before 2016. But since 2016, deaths have increased by nearly 17% each year. According to the World Meteorological Organization, extreme heat is the #1 weather-related killer in the U.S. Well, a new study highlights how patients are getting different dementia care across the U.S. According to researchers, those who live in Connecticut are 18% more likely to get an Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis than those who live in Massachusetts. That's because healthcare systems in Connecticut may be doing a better job screening and diagnosing. In addition to Connecticut, Alaska and the Texas Panhandle had excellent matches between dementia diagnoses and what might be expected for their areas, according to the study published recently in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia. Florida did not do as well. While all patients were using Medicare, researchers say differences exist between hospitals and specialists. Well, it's the last week in August, and as many start to look forward to cooler days, hay rides, hiking, and apple picking, you may be also dreading the running nose, sneezing, and itchy, watery eyes that many face this time of year. Mandy Gaither has some tips to help you tackle those autumn allergies.
From football to fall colors and pumpkin spice, there's a latte to love about autumn. But there are also things not so pleasant.
It could be a time when people are really miserable from their allergies.
Allergist Dr. Sandra Hong with Cleveland Clinic says ragweed is one of the biggest allergy culprits this time of year. If you're sensitive to it, she says you can expect symptoms to start around Labor Day and linger into the first cold days of winter. But you can protect yourself. Start by keeping the windows closed.
It is really tempting to keep the windows open because there's a cool fall breeze, but that's actually what carries in the allergens.
And keep those much-loved pets out of your bedroom. They go outside and bring allergens back in.
Basically, you are just hugging a ragweed plant because they're covered in all of that pollen.
Other ways to prevent symptoms: watch the pollen count. Stay indoors on dry, windy days when allergens are more likely to be in the air. Shower to wash off pollen after being outdoors. Consider starting nasal sprays before symptoms start and antihistamines after they begin.
If none of that helps, or you really don't like taking medications, either allergy shots or something called sublingual immunotherapy can be really effective at helping to control those allergies.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, Dr. Hong says it's also important to know what triggers your allergies because that can help you avoid them. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And for many of us, we've got a little bit of a cooler start out there than where we have been lately. Another hot day in store. The latest on the forecast when we come back.
Well, right now at 5:30, local conservation experts warn drivers to be extra cautious about deer this time of year.
And we've got ourselves a slightly better start to the day across the area. Still warm in some locations. Another hot day out there. Well, look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh students, residents, and business owners turn out to paint the city of Pittsburgh red.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Oh, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is a second Monday.
Second Monday.
Just
yesterday went a little too well.
We are jamming out. I mean, we've got ourselves a party to start the morning show. It is always a party here at KOAM. Though.
Happy to party with you at home this morning.
That was, oh man, you know, the coffee in the morning as it's just kicking in, something like that throws you off, and then it's a downward spiral from there.
Back and giggles sometimes, yeah.
Well, on that note, though, hopefully your day is starting out as fantastically well, and I mean that. It's fun. We have fun. We're here to help your day start off on the right foot. So hopefully we're doing so. And if not, we'll try harder.
Yeah, more music.
We'll have more music. We'll bring in a lot of excitement and everything like that. And we have some excitement later on down the road in our forecast, and we'll get to that a little later. But first, let's get you through today on this Tuesday. We're going to start with a live look outside from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Looking pretty good. We do have an opportunity for some isolated pop-up showers or storms again. We'll have a couple of rounds of those possible today. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line looking pretty good this morning as well. So future tracks, so we started at noon. So I want to cover the first possible round of pop-up storms. They look at this point to be slightly better chances east of the 69 corridor. Now, they're going to be very isolated. Most of you will still be dry, but we could see some roughly between, say, 10 a.m. and noon today. And then we'll have another possible round a little later this afternoon between about 3 and 6 out there. And these will be confined more into our northwestern community, so Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute. Outside of that, though, the majority of us dry and another hot one, but no heat advisories today, which is at least some help. 74 in Joplin, 72 in Pittsburgh. Around the area, temperatures a little warmer up north, a little unusual for this area this time of year, but we got some upper 70s in some of our northern counties and low to mid 70s as you head a little further to the south. Kids getting on the bus this morning, mostly clear skies initially, low 70s for most of us, south breeze 5 to 10, and then with that second round of pop-up storms again, mainly in our northwestern counties, about 95 when the bus brings them home. The majority of us, though, again, dry, partly cloudy skies. So we'll have those 2 rounds of pop-up storms. The rest of us just dry, hot, mid-90s. Heat index values, although they're below heat advisory criteria, are still going to be up there at about 100 degrees today. This is going to repeat the next couple of days ahead of a cold front. That's going to bring some really big changes to the forecast. Details on that coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. The Missouri Department of Conservation says you need to be extra mindful of deer this time of year while driving. Deer mating season is October and November, which means they'll be out in greater numbers. MDC conservationists say you should never swerve to avoid hitting a deer and that it's better to hit it head on.
So that means that one of the things we have to be on the lookout for is when we're driving for deer crossing the roads. The peak time for this activity is October and November because that's when the deer mating season is. But that doesn't mean that deer aren't moving at other times of the year too.
Conservationists also say it's important to have your high beam lights on while traveling at night so you can see farther in front of you. The Missouri Department of Conservation is also tracking an invasive species of lizard in the Joplin area. They're asking for people to let them know if they spot this lizard. It's called an Italian wall lizard. You might find it in the Wildcat or Silver Creek Glades areas. The Italian wall lizard escaped from a Joplin area collector in the early 2000s. They're commonly seen in rocky habitats and on walls and building foundations.
A terrarium. He had a terrarium outside the lizards and the cat knocked over his terrarium and the lizards escaped. That's the story we have. So since that, they have done well. We don't like non-native species here because they hurt the native species. We're fortunate in the sense of these Italian wall lizards. They really seem to be a downtown type of lizard. They love that city environment, the concrete, the sidewalks, the old buildings. They love that. So they're staying in a downtown municipal area, but nevertheless, we would like them gone.
And if you're thinking it might make for a good pet, you might want to slow down. As of this coming Friday, you could face misdemeanor charges for having one. The penalty is up to a year in jail and a possible fine of up to $2,000. Well, the Neosho Arts Council wants to invite young artists to participate in this year's Thomas Hart Benton Youth Art Competition and Exhibition. The competition is open to kids age 8 to 12 and teens 13 to 17. Up to 3 entries will be accepted per young artist. The competition runs from September 20th through 26th, and there are no entry fees. Just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, where we've provided a handy link for more information. Well, the city of Pittsburgh gets ready for its annual Paint the Town Red celebration. The event marks the first Gorillas home game of the season. It also gives businesses a chance to get in on the celebration by decorating their businesses with red and gold in this case. Well, it's one way for business owners to give something back.
Me and my husband are both alumni of Pitt State, and we own a local business, and we're on Broadway now, so we decided that we should support the community, and with being in the Paint the Town Red pep rally area, we thought it would be a great way to give back.
This year's theme is City of Champions. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A desperate search continues after an ice cave collapses in Iceland, killing one tourist. And there are growing concerns of an all-out war in the Middle East. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Ride-hailing company Uber receives a giant fine for violating a European country's rules on data protection concerning its drivers. The Netherlands has levied a $324 million fine on Uber yesterday. The Dutch Data Protection Authority is accusing Uber of sending personal data on European drivers back to the United States. The Dutch watchdog agency says Uber failed to adequately safeguard the data. The transfer violated a general data protection regulation. Uber says it will appeal the decision and adds it has stopped the cross-border data transfer. A desperate search continues for missing tourists after a deadly cave collapses in southern Iceland. Over 150 rescuers are looking for 2 people on Monday believed to be trapped in the cave, which gave way Sunday. Drone footage shows emergency services responding to the scene shortly after the partial collapse in southern Iceland. A group of 25 tourists were exploring ice caves and canyons on the glacier when an ice wall gave way. At least one person was killed and another was injured. The search and rescue efforts were suspended late Sunday due to dangerous conditions. Well, there are growing concerns of an all-out war in the Middle East after high-level ceasefire and hostage talks over the Israel-Hamas war ended without an agreement. Lower-level negotiations are coming, but as the Lebanese terror group Hezbollah trades heavy fire with Israel, there are fears time is running out. Jeff Paul reports from Tel Aviv.
It was a moment weeks in the making. Israel ordering preemptive airstrikes in Lebanon after intelligence revealed a massive attack from Hezbollah was imminent. Moments later, air raid sirens in northern Israel with Hezbollah launching hundreds of drones and rockets. Israel says 100 fighter jets destroyed nearly all of what the Iranian-backed group was about to fire, with the Iron Dome taking out the bulk of what was launched.
We are very determined to continue degrading Hezbollah's capabilities, eliminating more commanders, and denying them assets and capabilities. We are not stopping.
3 Hezbollah militants were killed, as was one Israeli soldier, but it appears the situation between both sides has eased. During a televised address, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said if the results of the operation in retaliation for the killing of a top commander were satisfactory, they were done. But he warned there could be more attacks while downplaying Israel's strike.
What happened was an aggression, not a preemptive action.
The clash with Hezbollah comes as Israel and Hamas remain at odds over a ceasefire deal. Talks ended in Cairo, Egypt without an agreement, but low-level negotiations will continue. The White House remains hopeful mediators can bridge remaining gaps.
What I believe now is that it is incumbent on all parties in the region to work towards de-escalation and stability.
Despite the apparent easing of tensions, the U.S. Navy still has a heavy presence in the region. At least 17 warships and 1 submarine are currently stationed in the Middle East, sending a strong message of deterrence to Iran and its proxies.
That's it for World Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 545 on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with the Future Track. Now, the Future Track for the morning hours, we do start it at noon so you can plan your day. But I do want to point out that ahead of this, between roughly 10 and noon, we could see a couple of pop-up showers or storms east of the 69 corridor. And then later today, we could see some additional ones between, say, 3 and 6 in our northwestern counties. So Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, this zone here may see an isolated shower or storm. These ones are going to be considerably more isolated. Then on our Wednesday, we could see a few more of those pop-up showers and storms, at least over a broader area, but they look to hold off until a little later in the day. So we're talking late afternoon, early evening hours. They'll still be relatively limited, but at least a couple of us could get some shower activity out there. Then we go into our Thursday. Now, our Thursday is still going to be hot, and the majority of the day will be dry. We could see a few pop-up showers ahead of this cold front that's going to come in late Thursday into early Friday. And so when we put this in to 1 a.m. on Friday, there's that front. And here it comes, and it's going to be bringing us some shower and thunderstorm chances. Now, at this point, we're not looking at anything strong or severe. We're still a few days out. If any of that changes, we'll let you know. But right now, we're just looking at thunderstorms, some much cooler air, and some much-needed rain as well. Our heat risk for today and into Thursday will still be in that moderate with some patchy major out there as well. So heat index values, especially today, could still approach 100 degrees. That's going to put them below heat advisory criteria, which is why we don't have any out there. But that doesn't mean it's not still going to be hot. By Friday, once that front pushes through, take a look. We're now in the minor risk area, and our risk continues to decrease through the weekend. Now, through the weekend, it's actually going to be a little warmer Saturday and Sunday than it will be on Friday, but then another weak wave Sunday will come through, and take a look at what it does to our heat risk by Monday. puts it into the little to no risk for a good portion of the area. In Joplin right now, we've got mostly clear skies, 74, south breeze at 3. It is a bit on the muggy side once again, hence the opportunity for some pop-up storms later this morning and again this afternoon. A little warmer in the northwest too. We've got upper 70s. Look at the 8th Center. You've actually come up a degree to 78, 77 Iola, 76 Chanute, and then you start heading south of that. We get a little cooler, low to mid 70s. Still above normal, but a little cooler out there. Again, a few clouds to start the day. Some isolated storms east of 69 looks to be the best chance at this point for the morning storms. Will be mid 80s by 11. Highs today right around the mid 90s, and the mid 90s will continue through Thursday. Then that cold front comes through, and we drop into the upper 60s Thursday night. Thunderstorms through the day on Friday, mid 80s, upper 80s this weekend. That weak wave Sunday, look what it does to temperatures. Upper 50s for lows as we kick off the next work week, and temperatures well below normal into the low 80s. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, strength, stamina, and spirit. They were all on display Saturday at Long Beach Airport in Southern California. Teams of people got together for a fundraiser to help the Special Olympics. Gio Encinieras explains.
2, 1. Carrying the load among teammates. In this case, it's weighing about 62 tons.
At this event, when we plan this out, we don't have a gun show here. But the size of people's arms here are just, you would think that it is a gun show.
Special Olympics Southern California's plane pull, hosted at Long Beach Airport, is a test of strength and stamina. It's also a fundraiser where all proceeds go to support people with intellectual disabilities who train and compete in life-changing programs.
I just enjoy being with my teammates, and I had a fun chat with them on Zoom. It was a fun time.
A fun time with an important rule to remember during the event.
Get your backs into it, stay strong.
As each team of 25 polls to see who can move this jet the fastest, the friendly competition featured law enforcement agencies, nonprofits, community groups, and others, including Paramount, the parent company of KCAL News. The energy encompassing the true meaning of the day for those participating, putting smiles and stoking cheers across the runway.
This is something on the side that our men and women do that they find very special, that connection with the athletes and their families.
A bond that is strengthened with some summer fun while raising money for a good cause.
A Major League Baseball player shared a special moment with some kids in Kansas away from the TV cameras and off the field. Alan Shope has the story.
Somebody can just see us and ask to play.
The little ballpark in this Wyandotte County neighborhood has a very special name.
We all jokingly call it the Sandlot, like the movie.
Seems fitting. There's even a dog on the other side of the fence that always wants to take the ball when you hit it over it.
Baxter!
And it's a game that's been played here several nights a week during baseball season for 3 years. But on Thursday night, they called up a Major League catcher to their wiffle ball game.
And he was like, "Hello guys, can I play?"
The team's shocked it was Salvador Perez visiting a friend and stopping off to play a few innings. Mom, Leslie Lard, grabbed her phone and started recording.
He just started playing. He didn't really do anything, and they just kept playing.
And why not? Anytime a 9-time All-Star rolls up, it's game on.
He just wanted to play.
I think it was my off day, bro. I played like 3 innings, so I'm kind of tired a little bit.
He played defense, he batted, and he asked the boys to take a picture.
And if Salvi showing up to the Sandlot wasn't cool enough, at least one player will have a memory he'll never forget.
He hit a homer off one of the kids back there. I gave him one down the middle, and he hit one off me.
Did you think you were going to strike Salvi out?
No.
It's hard to hit that ball.
If you get another chance to pitch to Salvi someday, what are you going to throw him?
I don't know. Probably not a fastball again.
Well, Salvador, the 2015 World Series MVP, said it was the first time he's ever played wiffle ball. Pretty cool. Stick around. We'll be right back. Amateur wrestlers from around the world face off at the World Gravy Wrestling Championships on Monday. In a small Lancashire town, 16 men and 8 women fought for the crown by wrestling in a pool of traditional British gravy. The goal of the competition is pure entertainment, with competitors creating characters in unique costumes like the butcher, a baby in a diaper, and a hot dog suit. 4 judges decide the winner based not on wrestling skills but genuine entertainment value. The annual World Championship raises money for charities through participation and entry fees. Well, it's time to celebrate one of summertime's most scrumptious fruits. Today is National Peach Day. Whether you enjoy a peach by itself or use them for canning and baking, you should know more about where they came from. Peaches date back 4,000 years and they originate from China and Central Asia. Not only are they juicy and delicious, they're also good for you. The fruit is packed with vitamins and low in calories, and they help fight illnesses like heart disease. There are endless ways to celebrate the day. Visit a peach orchard, a local farmer's market, or try a few recipes using peaches.
Not a huge fan of peaches, but now that I know they have so many health benefits, I might have to have a few more in my life. As for that gravy, what the world was that? That was the most disgusting thing I have ever seen in my life. That was so bad. That didn't, like, you guys saw it. Hopefully you can erase it from your brains. It's going to take me a few days. And while we're erasing whatever that was from our minds, let's also keep in mind, could see some isolated pop-up storms along and east of 69 between, say, roughly 10 and noon today. We'll be into the upper 80s, partly cloudy skies by late morning. Partly cloudy, dry, hot for most of us. Heat index values close to 100 degrees again today, but below heat advisory criteria. And again, some pop-up storms possible in our northwestern counties between roughly 3 and 6. Mostly clear overnight and back to the low to mid 70s. Mid 90s continue Wednesday, Thursday, pop-up storms on Wednesday. Cold front brings thunderstorms Friday and much cooler weather heading into next week. We'll be back with more right after this.